Now at this point, now we need to start handling the part forward for availability. So for consultation, so the first thing that we're gonna do, we need to make sure that you log in as a consultant, because you are working on the patient. Now we need to go back to the consultant first, so that we'll be able to develop that part for scheduling, okay, the availability and other things. So that is what we need to do, so that we'll be able to go now to the patient side, so that we're gonna be able to build now for the consultation. Okay, so that is what we need to do. So you need to come to our consultant. So where we were here in the pages, we need to create a new page here. So the new page here, we're gonna create gonna name it consultant. So consultant schedule, so schedule page dot. Okay, so then the page that we want to build, let me show you how it looks like, so that you'll be able to understand. Okay, as you look here, we have this page. Okay, so where we have the part for scheduling, where you can be able to turn it off and set the time and like that. Okay, so also we have the appointments here the same way. Okay, so then we have this header with this one, and also using the ellipsis there. Then we have this one for refreshing, and also this one for help. Okay, so then we need to build that one. So let us come back in our code. So the first thing that we need to do, it is to create that one. So we're gonna make sure it's a stateful widget. So we're gonna say st say stf so stateful widget. So here we're gonna name it as consultant schedule page. Then we need to import this one, so import it there. So the first thing that we need to do, we need first of all to add it in our router, so that we'll be able to use it. So the one that will be responsible for scheduling, so we're gonna need to come to our router here. So where we have the app router, so we have that part. So what we need to do still in our consultant, so just below this one, so here we need to have what, gonna say go route. So go route, then we do what, so we're gonna have the name. So the name here, it will be what, app route names dot, we need to have the consultant schedule. Okay, so we created that one, so you can check there. So from our route names, so then the path that we want to have, so the path, it will be what, we're gonna say // then we're gonna say consultant. So consultant, then we do what, we say schedule. So schedule like that. Then from there, the next thing, it is builder. So a builder here, password, context, and also the state. Okay, so then we need to do what, so we need to return our consultant. So constant of what, consultant, so consultant schedule, so schedule page there. Okay, so that is it. Now we need to save it, so like that. Okay, so remember, when you come to our main scaffold here, we had it where, so it is in there, so the first, it is in the first case. Okay, so that is the second place. So we need to do a hot restart, so that we'll be able to see what we are, where we are. So then you need to come back to what, to our page in our consultant schedule page, this one. So then, so what we need to do here in the container, you're gonna just, here we need to first of all to return what, we need to return scaffold. So when you go to your view here, you will realize that it is empty, so because we are using container. So just let me bring it here. So in that place, then we need to do what, we need to come to this, the first one. So as you can see, it is empty, so that is where we are. So let us remove it, and then we do what? Now what we need to do here, it is what? First of all, we want to return the scaffold, okay? Because the scaffold is where we're gonna have the title and others. So this one, we're gonna return a scaffold there. So before we start working on the main what, on the builder method, so we need to do what? We need first of all to have some few, we're gonna initialize some few things here. So we're gonna say let, so we want to initialize our block here. So let final, consultant, so consultant block, not that one. So we're gonna say consultant block, so consultant block here. So then we name it what? Consultant block. So because we need to have, we're gonna have multiple blocks, so we're gonna have let later. So we're gonna say let, so we need to have for the tab controller, because you can see we have the tab. So we're gonna say tab controller, this one, we name it what? Our tab controller, okay? So this one we're gonna use it later in our tab, okay? So that is what we need to initialize there as a let. So when you initialize it as a let, so we need to make sure that we do what? In the init state, okay? So we need to pass them here in the init state. So what we need to do, let me remove this one first. So the first thing that we need to do, it is to just call our what? Our consultant. We need to inject it here, okay? So consultant block is equals to what? Gonna say get it. So get it. So get it like this. Then we do what? We pass the consultant. So consultant block, okay? That is it. Then we pass it like that. Then we need also to initialize our tab controller. So tab controller is equals to what? Our tab controller, okay? So tab controller, this one. And then for the length, we're gonna pass 2 because we want only 2. Then the vsync, we want to use this, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna extend here. We want to use with what? With a single ticker provider mixing, okay? Single ticker provider state mixing. So that is the one that gonna give us, that's why we're using this here, okay? So that's it. So then the next thing that we need to do, after we open this page, we need to load the initial data, okay? So we're gonna say load initial, so load initial data, okay? So we need to create this method that will be responsible for loading the initial data. So just come here, just outside our init. So we're gonna say void, gonna say load, so load initial data, so like that. Then we do what? So then we do, gonna load the consultant availability for schedule tab here. So we're gonna say consultant block. So now after we have done that, now the thing that we need to do, consultant block, then we're gonna say what? Add the event that we want to add here is what? Load consultant availability event, okay? So that is it. Then from there we put what? Semicolon there. So then the next thing that we need to do is to dispose our controllers. So we're gonna dispose, so dispose here. So the first one we want to test the tab controller. So tab controller dot dispose, like that, okay? So then the next thing that we need to dispose, it is what? Consultant block. So we want to close it when it is no longer used. So we just say close, like that. So then from there, now we need to start working on this body. So for the body here, because later I'm gonna add another block, I want to wrap it with widget. So the multi block, okay? So we're gonna say multi block provide, okay? Because we want to provide multiple blocks here. So then from there we need to have what? So we're gonna have this one here. We're gonna have the providers. So providers, so it's a list. So currently we're gonna use the BLoC provider. So currently we're gonna use this one only. So dot value. So dot value here gonna pass what? Our consultant BLoC. Okay, so consultant, our consultant BLoC, like that. So then you put comma here. Okay, so that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to start working on what? On this one, scaffold. So we're gonna have the background. So the background color, it will be up colors. So up colors, we need to import it. So up colors, so up colors dot what? So first of all, we need to import it here. So then we're gonna say background. Okay, like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the up bar. Okay, so the up bar here, I want to create a custom up bar because we want to have what? Those icons there, and also to be able to refresh. Okay, so we need to create that one. So we're gonna come here. So here in our widgets, so here in our widgets, you need to create another folder. So the folder that we want to create here is for schedule. So this one, you're gonna put the widgets that involve schedule here. So what we need to do here, the first one that we want to add it is what? Our schedule app. Okay, so schedule app bar dot dart. Okay, so this one we're gonna it will be a stateless class, so stateless widget. So we're gonna do like this. So then we're gonna name it what? Schedule app bar. So schedule app bar. Then we need to import them, to import our container and others. So then after we have done that, now the next thing that we need to do, because we want to create an app bar, so we need to say implements. So this one gonna implement. So we're gonna implement what? Our preferred. Okay, gonna say preferred size widget. Okay, that one. So then after we do that, now we need to have some few things here in our state, the ones that will be passed here. Okay, so we're gonna say the first one we need, it is the callback for void. I'm gonna say void callback. So void callback. So void callback here, we name it what? We're gonna name it on refresh. On a refresh, like that. And also we need to have another one for what? So we're gonna copy this one. So the second one here, it is what? On help. Okay, the one that gonna show the help dialog. So we're gonna say on help, like that. So now this one, we need to pass them to our what? To our constructor here. So like that. So then here we need, as you can see, it is missing concrete whatever. So we need to have what? The missing override. So the missing method here. So like that. So we just add it there. Okay, so here we need to do what? So let us remove this one first. So the to do. So now here for the implementation, we need to return. So we are gonna say constant size of what? Size dot from height. Okay, from height. Then we're gonna pass our k toolbar. Okay, so k toolbar height. Okay, that is it. So now the next thing that we need to do, now we need to start working on what? On our build method here. So which we're gonna return what? App bar. Okay, gonna return the app bar. So then from there we need to have what? We need to have the background color for app bar. So this one we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? App colors, first of all we need to import it. So after we imported that one, we need to use the surface, not success surface. Okay, the surface there. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to make sure that we don't have elevation. So we're gonna pass 0. So then from there we need to have the title. So the title here, it will be a text widget. So text widget. Then from there we're gonna say what? Schedule. So schedule management. So management, then we need to style it. So to style it here, we're gonna say what? Text style. So not text style, we're gonna use the app text style. So our app text style. So we're gonna use what? We're gonna use the heading 2, like that. Then we do what? Then we need to use the copy width. So to override some few things here. So the first one that we need to override it is the color. So we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? Primary text. Okay. So then the next thing, it is the font weight. So font weight. So the font weight here, gonna say font weight dot bold. Okay. So font weight dot bold, like that. So then after we have done that, now we have that one. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the leading. So still in our app bar here, gonna say leading. So this is the icon. We're gonna say icon button. So icon button. So icon button, that is the one that we saw the arrow. So this one pressed, we need just to pop it. Okay. So we need to come here and you do what? Navigator. So navigator dot of context. So of context, then we do what? We just pop it. Okay. So dot pop. So then from there we need to do what? We need to do for the icon. So the icon here, we need to do what? We're gonna say constant of what? Icon. So the icon, you're gonna pass the icons dot what? Arrow back. Okay. So arrow back, like that. Then we need to have the color of our arrow, our icon. So we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? Primary text, like that. Then we're gonna save it. So the next thing that we need to do it is to have now the actions in our app bar. So we're gonna say actions. So the actions here, we need to have what? Gonna have the icon button. So we're gonna say icon button. So icon button. So here on pressed, we need to do what? We need to pass our on pressed. You're gonna pass our on refresh. Okay. So that one will be used for refreshing. Now for the icon here, you're gonna say constant icon widget. Then you're gonna say icons dot what? Icons dot refresh. Okay. So then the color. So the color here, gonna say what? App colors. So we're gonna say app colors. So we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? Dot primary text. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the in our icon button, we need to have the tooltip. So tooltip here, gonna say what? Refresh. Okay, like that. So then we need to save it. So then we do the same for what? For that part for help. Okay, so just come here and we paste this one. So then here, instead of on refresh, this one on help. Okay, so then instead of this one, we just pass what? Help outline. So help outline. Okay, like that. So then from there, the tooltip here, it is what? Gonna say help. So that is the part for what? For our app bar. So now we need to use it here. So let us come here. So here, what we need to return, it is our what? Our schedule. So schedule. So schedule what? Schedule app bar, like that. So now we need to import it. So when we import it here, now we need to have the on refresh. So on refresh, we need to create a refresh data, the one that will be used to call the event for refreshing. So we're gonna create this method. So just come here. So this one we're gonna say void refresh data. So refresh data. So this one we're gonna do what? Just need to return our load initial data. So now the next part, it is for what? For on help. So gonna on help. So here we need to show what? We need to show schedule help. So schedule help. Okay, so we need to create this one. So first of all, just come outside this one. So you're gonna say void. So this one could be void. Then you're gonna say show schedule what? Schedule help. Okay, so like that. So then this one, you're gonna accept build context. Gonna pass context there. So context. Then from there, because we want to show a dialog, so we're gonna say show dialog. So show dialog, that one. So the context. Now this one for the builder, so we're gonna pass context there. And now we need to do what? We need to return a schedule help dialog. Okay, so we need to create that one for showing that help. So the help that we want to show, let me show you how it looks like, so that you'll be able to do what? To understand what we are going to do. So let me go and look for it. So we just need to show this dialog here. Okay, we're gonna say toggle save changes like that. Okay, so let us come back. So we need to come back to our code. So here, so what we need to do, we need to create that here in our schedule. So in our schedule here, we need to create the new file. So we're gonna say schedule. So schedule help. So help dialog dot what? Dot. Okay, so that one will be responsible for that, just to show that text. So we're gonna say it will be a stateless class, stateless widget. So we're gonna name it schedule. So schedule help dialog. Then we need to import this one. So then the next thing that we need to do after we have done that, now in this one, we don't want to return a container, we want to return the alert dialog. Okay, the alert dialog. So then from there, the next thing that we need, it is the title. So the title here, it will be a constant of what? Text. So here gonna say schedule. So schedule, gonna put it in quotes. So we're gonna say schedule. So schedule help, like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the content. So the content here, so the content, not context. So the content, so the content here, it is a widget. So we're gonna say constant of what? Single child scroll view. Okay, single child scroll view, because you want it to be scrollable. Then we need to have the child. So the child here to be a column. So we're gonna say column. So column here, we do what? The column here, we need to have the what? Gonna say the cross axis alignment. So the cross axis alignment, we want it to be from the start. So we're gonna say cross axis alignment dot what? Dot start. Okay, so dot start. So then after we have done that, now the next thing that we need to do, it is to do what? It is to have the, we want it to occupy the smallest size. So we're gonna say main access dot min. So main access, so main access size dot min. Okay, like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the children. So the children here, so this one will be a text. So we're gonna say text widget. So the text widget here, what I need to do, we need to, I'm gonna say, first of all, I'm gonna start with how to manage your schedule. Okay, your schedule, like that. Then from there, we need to make sure that we have a new line, so that it will go to the next line. Okay, then also we need to, I'm gonna have two, so we're gonna skip 2 lines there, so that to show the next part. So then here we need to say what? I'm gonna put this one there. I'm gonna say toggle. So toggle days on stroke off to set when. So we're gonna say to set when you do it, when you are, okay. So for you to have the quote there, you need to have that backward slash. Then when you are in what, you are available, okay. So available, so then you need to have what, the new line, okay. So the new line, there. The next thing it is what, we need to have the next one. So the next one here, let me come here first. So we're gonna say the next one here, it is what, gonna say tap. So you tap time slots, to change your what. So this one is just to change, so to change your working days, your working hours, okay. Also we do the new line, then we do the next one. So the next one, it is the save changes. So save changes to update your what, your availability, like that. Then you need to have the new line. So also we need to come here. The next one, it is what, gonna say patience, so patience will what, so patience can only book during what, so during your available hours, okay. So that's it. Then you need to have a new line, then a new line also. So then, so that you're gonna have another one here, gonna say tips, for better scheduling, so better scheduling here, gonna do what, gonna have a new line and also a new line also, like that. So then we do what, so this one we're gonna say leave, so leave buffer, so leave buffer time between what, between appointments, like that. Then we do what, we do a new line. So then the next one, it is what, we need to have the, here we're gonna say set realistic, so set realistic consultation durations, okay. So consultation durations, then we put a new line, not that one. So then from there we need to have what, we need to have another one. We're gonna say update, so update regularly, so regularly to reflect changes. Then we do like that. Then from there, the next one, it is what, we're gonna say consider, so consider time zones, so time zones for remote patients. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the action. So gonna save that one. So the actions here, so the actions that we need to have in our alert dialog, so still here in our alert, so gonna say actions. So the actions here, gonna just have the text button to cancel, to close, not to cancel. So text button, then we're gonna say on pressed, so we remove that one, so we're gonna pop it, okay. So we're gonna say navigator, so navigator dot what, dot of context. So then from there we do what, you're gonna say pop, so pop like this, then we put it there. So then for the child, it will be a constant of what, text, not like here, so it should be in this part. So we're gonna say constant of text, so text here, gonna say what, gonna say got it, okay. So that's it. So that is the part for what, for help text. So for the help dialog, So then the next thing that we need to do is just to call it here. We're gonna call it here and we say what? Gonna say constant of what? Schedule. So schedule help dialog, okay? Then you put semicolon there. So now the next thing that we need to do, now we have done that one, now we can do what? We can pass the context in our help dialog here. So this one, it's useful to be able to do what? To remove that one when you press that context. So then to come back here, okay? So that is it. So show help dialog like that. Show schedule help. I hope I'm using the right one. So let me copy this one. So what is it complaining about? The expression has a type of void and its value can't be used. The reason seems like we have what? We have the issue here. So this one should be a method like that. Then we do what? Then we return, okay? Because that is what we need to do. Then we return like that. So then, so this one should not be here. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, after we have done that, so this one we do like that on help. Then so this one should be here, okay? So then from there, now we can be able to test it. We just need to do a hot reload so that we'll be able to see. So let me grab it and show you how it looks like. So as you can see, we have that issue for late initialization. So what we need to do, we need to do a hot restart, okay? So that it will be able to load that one. So let us wait for it to load so that we'll be able to do what? To see what is happening, okay? So when you press here, you can be able to see when you press this one, for that one it just shows what? That one, okay? So this one like this, okay? Then we press got it to just come back here. Then if it is to refresh here, currently it won't show anything because we are not loading anything. So now we need to do what? So let me remove it. And then after removing that one, so now we need to do what? Now we need to start working on our body, okay? So just come here in our scaffold. So scaffold here, you need to have the body. Where are we? Here in the scaffold. So we need to have the body. So the body here, so the body here to be a block, multi-block listen, okay? Because we want to listen to multiple block. So the listeners here, we're gonna pass what? To is a list. So the list here gonna say the first one that we need to have it is what? Block listener. So block listener here for the listener part. So let me save it first. So the listener here, the first one, we need to do what? So here we need to have a method to handle the consultant state changes, okay? So just need to create this method. So change consultant changes like that. So then also here we need to pass the type. So we're gonna say consultant. So consultant block, that one, and also the consultant what? Consultant state, okay? So we do it like that. Now we need to copy this one. So gonna come here. So this one will be the one that's gonna manage the states that will be in. So we need to come here and you say void. So void, then I'm gonna paste that one. So then this one gonna accept the build context. So we pass the context, and also we need to have the state, okay? So consultant what? Or consultant state, okay? So consultant state, that one. So we name it what? State. So then from there we need to do what? We need to check the different states. So if the state is consultant availability updated, this one. So if you are in that state, we need to show a success there, a success snack bar, okay? So we're gonna say show success snack bar, okay? Snack bar like that. So then we need to create this method. So first of all, you come here, just here below. So this one will just show the dialog, so not the dialog, the snack bar. So you're gonna say void, so void, then you're gonna paste it here. So then this one gonna accept the context, so you're gonna say build context, then context. Okay, so and also you need to pass the message, so you're gonna say string, so string message, like that. So then from there we do what? Here we need to use the scaffold messenger, so the scaffold, so the scaffold messenger dot of context. So then we do what? We say show snack bar, show snack bar. So then here to be what? A snack bar, so snack bar. So then for the content, because it's a widget, we can use a row so that we'll be able to show different icons, so icon and also a text. Okay, so this one we're gonna have an icon, so constant icon, then we're gonna say icons. So we're gonna say icons dot what? Icons dot check circle, so icons dot check circle. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do is to have the color, so the color of our icon. So gonna say colors dot what? Gonna say, can use also app colors, gonna say app colors, so app colors dot surface, like that. Then the next thing it is what? We need to have a gap between the text, so constant sized box, so constant sized box, we need to have a width of 8, like that. Okay, so then from there, the next thing that we need to have it is a text, then we pass our message there. Okay, so then from there we need to have the what? So first of all, let us put semicolon there, then we save it. So then from there we need to have what? In our snack bar, still we need to have the background color, so the background color, so this one will be what? Will be gonna use the colors dot green, or you can just use the app colors if you wish. So we're gonna say app colors, so app colors, so app colors dot what? Success. Okay, so success, like that. So then we need to have also the duration, so the duration that our snack bar will be shown. So we're gonna say constant of what? Duration. So duration here we need to have what? Seconds, so seconds, gonna have a value of 2, like that. Okay, we want it to last only just 2 seconds. So then from there we need to come here to our what? To our method here, then we need to pass the context. So and also for the message here, gonna say schedule, so schedule updated successfully. Okay, updated successfully, like that. Okay, so then you can have also exclamation there. So then from there we need to have what? We need now to update. Okay, so we're gonna say consultant block, we just need to load them. Okay, after we add them, just load it. Okay, so we're gonna say constant of what? Load consultant availability event. Okay, so then from there we just close it here, like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to come here and we say if the state is consultant error, so consultant error, if it is in that state, so we need to do what? Gonna come here and we need to show the, so show the error, so error snack bar, so snack bar, like that. So what I'm gonna do, because it is almost the same with our what, so we're gonna copy this one, so just need to copy this one, then I'm gonna come with it here and I'm gonna paste it here. So then we're gonna say what? Show error. Okay, say show error snack bar there. So then for the what? For the colors, so here gonna do what? App colors dot, there is that one for error, Then from there, for duration, it will remain the same. Then for the icon here, it will be what? An error outline. Okay, so error outline. So then after doing that, now we have it like that. Okay, so then after we do that, now the next thing that is, it is just to come here and you do what? We update it. Okay, so here gonna say context, pass the context and also the message. You're gonna get it from the state. So state dot what? Message, like that. Then you put semicolon there. So after we do that, now the next thing that we need to do, I've just saved them, so make sure that yours look like that. Okay, so then after doing that, the next thing that we need to do, now we need to come back to our BLoC listener here. Now we need to have what? The child. Okay, so later we're gonna add another block there to handle. So then for the child here to be a column, so we're gonna say column, so column like this. So the column here gonna have what? Children. So the children, here, for the first one that we need to have, it is that part for the tab, where you can be able to do what? To show the different tabs. So for the consultant, for the scheduling, and also for the appointments. Okay, so we need to have the tab bar. Okay, first of all. Okay, so just come here in the schedule, then you create what? You create a new file. So the new file here gonna create what? We're gonna say schedule. So schedule what? Schedule tab. So schedule tab bar. Then you do what? We're gonna say dot. So this one will be a stateless widget. So this one is just to show the tab, so it will be a stateless widget here. So this one we're gonna say what? Schedule. So schedule tab bar. So then you need also to import these ones. So just come here and you do what? Import them there. So then the next thing that you need to have, it is the tab controller. So we're gonna say final tab controller. So tab controller. So we're gonna name it controller. Okay, so then we need to pass it here to our constructor. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do here in our build, we need to have a container. So the color, you're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? So first of all, import it. Then we're gonna say dot surface, like that. Okay, the next thing that we need to have, it is child. So the child for container. So this one gonna use the tab bar. So the tab bar here. Okay, so then for the tabs here, it will be what? You're gonna have the 2. So we're gonna say constant. So constant of list, it is a list. So then here in the list, we need to have the tab. So the first tab here to be a text. So the text will be what? Weekly. So weekly schedule. So weekly schedule, like that. Then from there, we need also to have what? Another tab. So the other tab, it is what? To be gonna make sure that we have what? Appointments. Okay, so appointments, like that. So then from there, we need also to still in our tab. So let me save it first. So still in our tab, I don't want to use this one, don't want to use the secondary, I want it to be like that. Okay, so then from there, the thing that we need to have here is what? We need to have the controller. So the controller, here, it is our controller. Just pass the controller that will be passed there. So controller. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, it is for the indicator color. So the color that we're gonna indicate which tab we are the active one. So we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? App colors dot primary blue. Okay, then the next one, it is for the label. So the label color, you want it also to be app colors dot what? Colors dot primary blue. The next one, it is what? Also we need to have the unselected, the one that is not selected. So on selected label color, we're gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what, you want to check for, you can have what, you can have the secondary like that. Okay, so that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, it is our label style. So the label style here, gonna say app text style. So app text styles. So app text styles, then we need to import it. Just come here and you import it like that. So app text style dot body medium. So body medium dot copy width. So dot copy width here, gonna have the font weight. So gonna say font weight. So here gonna say font weight dot what. So font weight dot weight of 600. Okay, like that. So let me save it like that. So make sure that your tab looks like that. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do, it is to use it in our column. So here we need to, where are we, here. So we do what, so here in our column, the first one, it is what, our, we're gonna say what, so we're gonna say schedule. I say schedule. So schedule what do we call it, schedule tab bar, this one. So the controller, we're gonna pass our tab controller. Okay, the one that we declared there like that. So then the next thing that we need to do now, still in our column, so here we need to have expanded. So to take the space that is there, so we're gonna say expanded. So the child here, so this one we want to use the TabBarView. Okay, so TabBarView, because we are using the tab bar. So then for the children here, so we need to have it as a list, so like that. So, and also before we do that, so what I need to do, let me first of all save this one. So then I want to do what, I want to have the controller, okay, for our TabBarView, not that one. Gonna have a controller here, so gonna say controller. So the controller here to be a tab controller, so tab controller like that. Then we need to have the children here. Okay, so we need to work on this one, so the one that will be responsible for the what, for the schedule. Okay, so before we continue, so let us first of all see what we have done so far. So we can do a hot reload so that we'll be able to see what we have done. Okay, so let me grab it and show you how it looks like. So when you come here, as you can see, we have that tab where we have what, we have the weekly and also for the appointments. Okay, so when you change, you can see it is just changing. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, so let me show you what we are going to do next here. So let me remove that one. So when you come here in the interface, now we need to start working on this. Okay, where we're gonna have the Monday, then we're gonna have the timer, we have the switch one, the one that gonna turn it on and off like that. Okay, that is what we need to do. So let us do what, so let us come back to our code and we do what, now we start building on that part. Okay, so now the first thing that we want to do, we need to come here in our the children. So the first child that we need to have, it is for the schedule tab. Okay, so schedule tab. Okay, so that is it. So now here we need to use the block builder because we want to build the screen when the state changes. So that's why we need to use the block builder. So then here we need to say consultant. So consultant block, and then for the return, when I say what, consultant, so the consultant state. Okay, like that. So then after we have done that, now we need to come here to our builder. So in our builder, so this one gonna take context and also gonna take what, state. Okay, so then from there we need to come here. So here we need to, what I'm gonna do, I need to return the schedule tab content. Okay, so now we need to create that one, the one that gonna show that data, the one that you saw there. Okay, so we need to go to our widgets here. So for the schedule here, we need to do what? We need to have it like, we're gonna name it what? Schedule. So schedule tab content. So tab content dot what? Dot that. So that is it. So now here, what we need to do, it will be a stateless widget. So I'm gonna say stateless widget. So gonna say consultant. So schedule tab. Okay, so then from there we need to import it. So then we do what? We import it there. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to have some few things here. We're gonna say final consultant state. So consultant state. Okay, so consultant state. So then we're gonna name it state. Okay, so because we need that state here. Then also we need to have the callback. So void callback, because we want to update here. Then we're gonna name it what? On refresh. Okay, so we're gonna say on refresh, like that. Then the next one, it is final function. So final function here, we're gonna pass what? A list. So list of what? List of map. So map of what? String. So map of string, and also dynamic like that. Then we close it there. So then we're gonna name it on schedule changed. Okay, so on the schedule it is changed. So on schedule changed. Okay, so then we need to pass them to our constructor here. So just come here and you do what? Initialize them there. Okay, so like that. So the next thing that we need to do, we need now to start working on our build. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do here, we want to track the different states. So we're gonna say if the state, so if the state is loading, so if the state it is in the loading, the consultant loading. So we're gonna say consultant, so consultant loading. Okay, so if it is in that state, we need to return the circular progress indicator. Okay, so here gonna say return constant of what? Center. We want to center it, so we need to center. Then we need to have the child. So the child here to be a column. So the column, so here in the column we need to say the main axis alignment. We want it to be centered. So main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot what? Dot center. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have for the part of the children. So here in the children, we're gonna have the circular progress indicator. So circular progress indicator, this one. So now we're gonna have what? The next one, we need to have a gap here. So we're gonna say sized box. So sized box here, gonna say height of what? So we want to have a height of 16. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have now the text. So text here, then we say what? Then we say loading schedule. Okay, loading schedule, like that. So that is that part. So now we should put semicolon here. So then the next thing that we need to do, that is the part for that one. Now the next one, it is when we have an error. So we're gonna do what? So we're gonna have it like this. So we're gonna say if the state here is consultant error. So consultant error, if it is in that state, we need to use the error widget. Okay, so we need to return error. So error widget. Okay, so the error widget, that one. So okay, we're gonna use the error state. Okay, so error state, or what did we create in the previous sessions? So I think we had what? So here we had, let us see. So we had the shared. So in the shared, not action there, and then in the profile, did we have that one? So we need to create that one, the error state widget. Okay, which I think later we're gonna put them together. So that we'll be able to do what? To see them. Okay, so it will be useful for that purpose. So we're gonna come here. So let me close this one. So here in the schedule, we create a new file. So the new file here, gonna name it what? Gonna name it error. So error state widget. So now instead of doing that, we're gonna remove this one. So I'm gonna use the error view that we created in what? In the patient, okay? Even though that view, we're gonna move it to, so we have something like error view. So error view, okay? So like that. So the message here, so this one, we're gonna get it from the state. So state is what? Is consultant error. So consultant error. So consultant error here. Then from there, you need to get the message, okay? The message like that, okay? So state, not state is as, okay? So we're gonna say as that one. So then on a retry, we're gonna say what? On a refresh, okay? On our refresh there. So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need now to come here. So now we need to get the availability, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do, we need to initialize them here as what? As the consultant availability loaded. So we're gonna say final list. So final list, so list of what? Consultant. So consultant availability. So consultant what? Consultant availability. So availability like that, we need to do what? So like that, we need to import it. So our consultant availability, so this entity, so we import it there. So then we're gonna name it availability. So availability is equals to, so here gonna say state is what? Consultant. So consultant availability loaded, okay? So loaded there. So if it is loaded, so we are checking whether it is loaded. If it is loaded, we just get them from there, okay? So state dot availability. So else we're gonna pass an empty list there, okay? So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to come here. So instead of returning contain, I want to return the refresh. We're gonna return refresh indicator, okay? So you're gonna say on a refresh. So on a refresh here, we need to pass what? We're gonna say it's an async. So async here. So the async here, what we need to do, we need to come here and we pass on refresh, okay? So on refresh like that. Then also we need to have a delay. So we need to remove that one there. Then we need to do what? We're gonna say await. So we await future. So future dot delayed, okay? So this one will be a constant duration. The duration that we want to delete is what? Gonna pass a constant duration of milliseconds. So the milliseconds here to be 500, okay? So that one we put it there. So that is the part for what? On a refresh. So the next one is the child. So the child here, it will be a single child scroll view. So single child scroll view. So this one, what we need to have here, first of all, we need to have the physics. So the physics here, gonna say constant of what? Always scrollable, okay? So always what? Always scrollable physics. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have here is the padding. So the padding here, gonna say constant of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot what? Edge insets dot all. So then we're gonna pass the up dimensions. So we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Padding medium, okay? So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have comma there. Then we need to have the child for single child scroll view, okay? So this one will be a column. So will be a column here. So then we need to make sure that we have the cross-axis alignment. So the cross-axis alignment here, we want it to start, okay? So we're gonna say cross-axis alignment dot start, okay? So then the next thing that we need to have it is what? Our children. So the children here, gonna say what? First of all, we need to have the schedule header. So the part so the schedule header, like that. Okay, so we need to create this one. So this one will be responsible for that part, for showing the part where we had set your availability. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you come here, we have that part where you have the icon. So as you look here, we have this one icon here. So then we have this one in the same column. Okay, so we have this one as a row, and also this one in the same what, all of these ones are in the row. Then we have what, this one in column. Okay, so in the same row. So that is what we need to do. So come here and we do what, so this one, we're gonna come here just below what, our class there, so below our widget. So this one will be also a stateless widget, so we're gonna say st, so it will be a stateless widget. So here we're gonna name it what, schedule. So schedule header. So schedule header, then we're gonna remove this one. So just come here and you remove it. So then after that, we need to have the widget build. So here in the container, we need to come here and you do what, we need to have the padding. So padding here, it will be constant of what, edge insets. So edge insets, so edge insets dot what, dot all. So the value gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, padding medium, like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the decoration. So decoration here, so we're gonna say box decoration. So box decoration, here, we need to have the gradient. So the gradient here to be a linear gradient. Okay, so we're gonna say linear gradient. So linear gradient, like that. So the colors, here it is a list. So we need to have what, we need to have the app colors. So app colors dot primary. So primary, we need to import this one. So the app colors, we need to import it there. So we're gonna say primary blue. Okay, then we're gonna have with alpha. So with alpha of what, gonna say 0.1. Okay, so then we multiply by 255. Then we do what, then we do the round. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have what, I'm gonna copy the same, gonna copy this one and paste it there. Then for the alpha, that is what we need to change. Okay, the opacity. So 0. Want it to be 0.5, like that. Okay, so then after we do that, now the next thing that we need to do, now we need to have the border radius. So just here outside the linear gradient, we need to have the border radius. So border radius, so this one will be border radius dot, so border radius dot circular, like that. Then we pass up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, dot border radius. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, it is to have our border. So we need to border all. So border dot all, we need to border our sides. Then we're gonna have the color. So we're gonna say up colors. So border, then here gonna say up colors. So up colors dot what, up colors dot primary blue. Then we need to have with alpha. So with alpha of 0.2. Okay, so 0.2, then you multiply by 255, and you round it. So then like that. Okay, so then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to come out of the decoration. Now we need to have the child for our container. So the child here, it will be a row. So the row here, we need to have what, we need to have the children. So the first child we need, it is the container. So the container here, so that is the part for what, remember it is the part for the icon. So but gonna make sure that we have constant edge insets. So edge insets dot all. So then you can have a value of 12. So then the next thing that we need to do, we're gonna have the decoration. Okay, so decoration here, so the decoration that we need to have here, it is what, gonna have the box decoration. So box decoration, then from there we need to have the color. So the color here to us app colors. So app colors dot surface. Okay, so gonna say app colors dot surface. Then the next thing that we need to have it is the border radius. So border radius. So border radius, then we're gonna say what? Border radius dot circular. So we're gonna say border radius dot circular. So then the value that we need to pass here is 8. Okay, so then we're gonna save it. So then from there we need the child for a container, so which will be the icon for that one for schedule. So we're gonna say child. So child here to be a constant of what? Icon. So icon here gonna say what? Icons dot schedule. So schedule like that. Then from there the next thing that we need it is the color. So the color gonna say app colors. So app colors dot what? App colors dot primary blue. Okay, then you're gonna say size. So size gonna pass a value of 24. Okay, so let me save it. So that is the part for the icon that you saw there. Okay, now then from there we had what? A gap there. So we're gonna say constant sized box. So constant of sized box. So we're gonna have the width. So the width gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? We're gonna say margin medium. Okay, so that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to have that we're gonna use the expanded to occupy the remaining part. So we're gonna say expanded. So expanded here we're gonna say this one, as I said, we're gonna be the column. So the column here, so we need first of all to have the cross axis alignment. As you saw, they were starting, so we're gonna say cross axis alignment dot start. Okay, so cross axis alignment dot start like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the children. So the children here, so we're gonna have the text, the first one where we had what? Where we had set your availability. Gonna say set your, so set your, gonna say set your availability. Okay, availability. So availability like that. Then we need to state it. So to state it here, what we need to do, we're gonna say up text style. So we're gonna say up text styles. So up text styles dot what? So dot, we're gonna say gonna use the body large. So then the body large we need to copy width. So dot copy width. Then we need to change the color. So the color gonna use the app colors. So app colors dot blue, primary blue. Okay, like that. Then the next one, it is what? It is the font weight. So the font weight here gonna say font weight dot bold. Okay, so font weight dot bold like that. Also now we had the gap, so between that text, and so we're gonna copy this one. So we had that gap in between that one. Set your availability. So we're gonna say constant of what? Sized box. So sized box. So here we're gonna pass a height of what? We're gonna have a height of 4 like that. So then we need to have comma. Then we're gonna paste it here. So what I'm gonna do to change here, so instead of set your availability, we're gonna say what? Configure when patients can do what? When patients can book consultations. Okay, consultations like that. So then for this one, so instead of body large, you're gonna use the body medium. Okay, so the body medium. So then the next thing that we're gonna have the color, we want to decrease it from, we're gonna have it as 80% opacity, so that is 0.8. so we're gonna say 0.8, then you multiply by 255, then you do what? You round it. Okay, so that is it. Then we don't want it to be bold, just want it to be normal. So then we save it there. So now after doing that, now we have what? We have that part for the header. So now the next thing that we need to do, we need to come back here to our what? Here to our refresh, to our body, so to the content. So here we're gonna say we need to have a gap between that header and also the body. Okay, the schedule, the one that is will be responsible for what? For scheduling. So we're gonna say height. So the height here, gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Up dimensions dot margin large, like that. Okay, so then from there we need to create a widget that will be responsible for what? For handling the availability, the one that gonna set the availability. So we need to create that one. So we need to come here, still in the schedule here, then we need to create the new file. Okay, so we're gonna name it availability. I say availability schedule. So schedule widget. Okay, dot that. So then here we're gonna say what? So the first thing that we need to do here, we're gonna make sure this will be a static widget, because we want to be able to change time, to manage time like that, and the availability in short. Okay, so here gonna say it is a static widget, so to be a static widget, so we're gonna say like this. Then we're gonna say availability. So availability schedule widget. So then from there we need to do what? We need to import this one. So after that we need to pass some few things here. So the ones that will be passed here, so the first one, it is final list. So consultant availability. So consultant availability, so this one should be passed as a list. Availability, so consultant availability there. Then we're gonna name it what? Availability. Okay, so availability, like that. Then the next one, it is what? We need to have a bool. So we're gonna say bool is what? Editable. And from there, then we're gonna say final function. So final list of what? Map. Then we're gonna say string dynamic. Okay, like that. Then we do what? We're gonna say on schedule. So this one will be called on schedule. So on schedule changed. Okay, so when it is changed like that, so we need to pass them to our what? To our widget here. So we need to come here and you do what? We initialize it there. Okay, so then gonna set it like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, so this one, so it's editable here, gonna set it to false, like that. Okay, so in this is where we're gonna handle the different things. So the first thing that I need to do, first of all, I need to have the list for the days. Okay, so the days of the week. Okay, so we're gonna say weekdays is equals to what? So this one will be a list of string. So let me put semicolon there. So I need to have Monday, then I need to have Tuesday, like that. Then also we're gonna have Wednesday. So Wednesday, like that. Also we need to have what? We need to have Thursday. So Thursday, like that. Then from there we need also to have Friday. So Friday, and also we're gonna have what? Saturday. Gonna say Saturday, so Saturday, like that. Then from there you can have what? Sunday. Okay, so that's it. So now the next thing that we need to do, I'm gonna save that one. So the next thing that you need to do, I need to have a map that gonna schedule. So the one that will be having the schedule, so the one that will be holding that data. So we're gonna come here. I just need to have it here, just below here. Gonna say class, I'm gonna call it day schedule. Okay, so for the day schedule, so should be like this. So here gonna say what? We're gonna have a bool. So bool is available, like that. Also gonna have a time of the day. Okay, so time of day. Okay, so we're gonna say start time. Okay, like that. Then we're gonna say, gonna copy this one. So we're gonna copy it and paste it there. Then instead of the time, so start time, we're gonna have what? End time. Okay, so we're gonna say end time. Okay, So that is it. So the time of the day is this one. So the value representing the time during the day, independent of the date, and the day might fall there. Okay, so now we need to create the constructor for this one. So just need to create it here with what, not let, I just want to create it here. So we just need to create the constructor. So let us say day of schedule, say day schedule, this one. Then you're gonna pass them as required. So I'm gonna say required. So required there, gonna say this dot what is available. Then from there gonna say required. So required this dot what, start time. And also gonna say required. So required, gonna say this dot end time. Okay, like that. Then you put what, semicolon there. So that is the schedule for the what, for the day schedule. So this one we're gonna use it for that purpose. So what we'll do next after doing that, now the next thing that we need to do, it is now to initialize it here. So still here, just below this one. So here I'm gonna initialize it as a let. So let of map of what, map of string. So map of string, and also the day schedule. Okay, so that is the day schedule. So this one is the schedule map of, okay, so schedule map like that. So now after we do that, we need to have also the bool has changes. So this one, this flag, we're gonna use it to track if it has changes. By default we're gonna pass it false. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do, we need to come here and we initialize our what. So when you open this widget, so we want to use the init state here. So the init state here, what you need to do here, first of all, gonna remove that one. So then after we do that, now we need to have a method that's gonna initialize. So I'm gonna say initialize schedule. Okay, so initialize schedule. So schedule like this, like that. Okay, so then the next thing that we're gonna do, so the next thing that we're gonna do here, we need to work on that method. Okay, so this one will just initialize our time there, so the schedule. So we're gonna say void initialize. So void initialize, so initialize schedule. So schedule like this, then it's a method there. We do what, so we need to come here. First of all, we need to initialize our schedule map. So schedule map, we're gonna initialize it as an empty map. Okay, like that. So then we're gonna say for every variable, so for every, so we're gonna say for every variable, so we're gonna say for every variable I, so that is the variable of I, so var, so the type. So then you're gonna say, what, weekdays. So for every index in what, in the weekdays, so that is less than the length, then we need to increase it. So we need to go through every day like that. So we're gonna say final day. So final day. So final day here, final day is equals to what, here you're gonna say is equals to, this one will be our weekdays. Then our weekdays, gonna say weekdays, weekdays, this one, then we pass the index. Okay, for that one. Now we get the day for that index. So then gonna say final existing schedule. We need first of all to get the existing schedule. Okay, existing schedule. So existing schedule is equals to what, we're gonna get it from the widget. We're just routing them. So widget dot availability dot what, first where then the test here gonna say avail, so the availability. So we're gonna return avail, our avail there. Then we're gonna say dot what, day name. So day name like that. Then we're gonna say to lowercase, so to lowercase like that. So then we're gonna check if it is equals to what is equals to the day dot lowercase to lowercase. So to lowercase, so you're gonna say to lowercase. So this one should not be here outside, should be here inside. So make sure that you put it here because we are doing comparison here. So day to lowercase, so to lowercase, then we do what? After that we need to, if it is not, we just use the or else. So or else here you need to do what? Just need to say consultant availability. So consultant availability, so the ID we're gonna put it as an empty string there. So then the day of the week, so we're gonna pass I, and also the day name, so the day name we're gonna pass the day. Then from there, for the start time, we're gonna have it as a what? 9 o'clock. If it is not there, you just need to have 9 a.m. like that. Then the end time we do the same, gonna pass 5 p.m. so that is 17, like that. Okay, so then from there we're gonna set it as active. So this one we're gonna set it to what? We're gonna set now for is active. So here for is active, here gonna say is active, so we're gonna set it to false. Okay, so that is it. So the thing that we are doing here, so we are checking for existing what? Schedule. Okay, so we get it, then we check whether that day has what? It is scheduled. So else we just pass this one. Okay, that is what we are doing here. So then the next thing that we're gonna do, so just below this one, we're gonna have the schedule map. So schedule map, so the schedule map here we're gonna get for that day. Okay, so is equals to what? Now so for every day we do what? For that day we just get it and we do what? We set day schedule, that one. So then we need to, for is available, gonna say existing what? So existing schedule dot is active. Okay, so that is available. Then the start time, so the start time here will be the time of the day. So time of day, so time of day, like that. Okay, so after that, now for the hour, so for the hour here gonna get it from the int dot pass. We need to get from the what? So the source here to be existing, so our existing schedule dot what? Gonna say start time. So the start time, then we need to split it. Okay, so the start time, then we need to split it. So we need to split it where we have what? That colon. So then from there we just need to get the first, so the first part of it. Okay, so then from there for the minute, so now for the minute we're gonna do the same. So let me copy this one. So time of the day here, where is it? I want to copy this one. So this one for the int pass. So then we come here and you do what? We replace like that. So then instead of getting the first part, we get the second part. Okay, so after splitting. So then the next thing that we need to do, we're gonna do the same for what? For end time. So we need to come here and we do what? We copy this one, then we come here and we do what? We replace this one. Okay, so that is it. So then we need also to do what? To make sure that this is closed. Where is it? So we need to make sure that int pass, this one, it's closed there. Then for the hour, this one, okay, we close it there. And also we do what? So this one expects that one, so we're gonna put it there. So then here we have what? Minute. So we're gonna say this one, so up to here, then for the hour up to there. Okay, so why is it complaining? So what do we have here? So the minute here expect the no. So this one, so this one starts where? So there. then also it expects this one here. Okay, so that is it. Now the next one, it is for the time of the day, this one. So this one should be in that one. Okay, should be closed there. Then from there we need to close the whole of it, time of the day. So the hour, the minute, here we need to have what, to have it like that. Okay, so now we need to save it. So now we're gonna say that has changes. So just come here, so has changes. So as changes here, we need to update it to be what, to be false. Okay, so like that. So now the next thing that we need to do, we need to be able to, for this widget, because we wanted to know if there are some changes, so there's some update, we need to use the override for did update. Okay, so did update this one. So as you can see, we have the availability widget, the old one. So here then we do what, gonna remove that one first. So just come below the super. So then, so here just check if we have the old widget, if in the old widget. So if old widget, so the old widget here dot availability, so the availability that is here, then we're gonna check if it's not equal to the what, to the widget. We're gonna check the widget availability. So it simply means there are some changes. So then now we need to do what, so we need to update. Okay, we just need to initialize our what with the new data. Okay, so they initialize the schedule. Okay, so that is the part for managing that one. So now the next thing that we need to do, we need to do what, we need now to go to the build. So we're gonna come here in the build. So here gonna return column, gonna say column. So we're gonna say column. So here in the column, instead of it, so then the thing that we need, it is the children. So the children here, so the children here, we need to first of all have the days. So and to have the days, so to have the days here, we need to do what, we're gonna use the spread operator. So like this, so the spread operator. So now we need to say weekdays, or weekdays here. So weekdays dot map, we need to map them. So then here we're gonna have the day. So for every day, we need to, we're gonna create a card that will be responsible for showing what, for showing our that data. Okay, so then what you need to do, just need to come here just below this one. So we're gonna say it will be a stateless widget. So stateless. So then we do what, we do like this. So here gonna say, gonna name it what, gonna name it day schedule. So day schedule card. Okay, like that. So then after we do that, now we're gonna remove this first. So we're gonna remove it like that. So then from there we need to define some few things. So the first thing that we need to define here is a string. So string for the day. Okay, so then from there we're gonna have the day schedule. So we're gonna say final, gonna name it day schedule. Not to name it, we're gonna say that type, then we name it schedule. Okay, so this one gonna contain all the data for that one. Okay, schedule, schedule like that. So like that. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to have, it is the bool to track if it is editable. So we're gonna say final bool. So final bool here is what, is editable. So is editable. Then also we're gonna have the callback. So final void callback. So void callback. Okay, so then from there we're gonna say no on toggle. So on toggle like that. Then also we're gonna say final void callback. So void callback. So void callback here we're gonna say what, on selected. So on selected. Okay, on select select what, on select start time. So we're gonna have the one for tracking that start time, then I'm gonna paste that one here, then this one will continue at the end time. Okay, so we're gonna say end time. Okay, like that. So then we need to pass them here to our constructor here, so we initialize them there. Okay, so but I want to initialize them as are required, so we're gonna do like this, and I'm gonna have the braces here. So then after doing that, now we need to add what, we need to initialize the parameters here. So just come here and initialize them there as are required. Okay, so let me remove that one. So then from there we need to first of all save it. So then after we do that, now we need to come here to our method. So before we do that, first of all, so we need to come to our build here. So the build here gonna return the container. So then the container here, we need to say a margin. We need to have a margin. So we're gonna have a margin here. Then we're gonna say constant of what, edge insets. So edge insets dot only. Then here gonna have the bottom. So bottom like that. Then we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, we want to get the border radius, not border radius. You're gonna say margin medium. Okay, so margin, so we need to import this one first. So we're gonna import it, so like that. Then you're gonna say margin medium. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have what, we need to have the decoration of our container. So we're gonna say decoration. So here the decoration here, we're gonna say box decoration. So box decoration. So in the box decoration here, we need to have the color. So we're gonna say color. So the color here, it will be what, it will be up colors. So up colors, I'm gonna make sure it's capital. So up colors. Okay, so up colors dot what, dot, we need to use the surface dot surface there. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the border radius. So border radius. So border radius here, we do what, so border radius, you're gonna say border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular. So dot circular here, then you're gonna say what, up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, we need to get the border radius. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need now to have the border. So the border, so the border here, it is what, we need to border all. So we're gonna say border all. So border all sides. So then, so here we need to have the color. So this one will be based on what, on the schedule. Okay, so we're gonna say color, gonna say schedule. So our schedule here, so if schedule is available, if it is available, we're gonna say up colors. So up colors dot what, up colors dot, gonna say up colors dot primary blue. So with alpha, so with alpha of what, so with alpha, then you're gonna say 0.3, then you multiply by 255, then you round it. Okay, so like that. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, else if it is not, so just have the colors dot gray. Okay, so colors dot gray. Okay, so that is it. So the gray, then this gray, we need to have a shade of what, we're gonna have a shade of 200. Okay, so like that. So now after doing that, now we can be able to go to the next what, so to our child. So the child here, we're gonna start with the header toggle. So the one that will toggle the header. So we're gonna say what, we're gonna say the child here will be a column. So we're gonna say a column. So the column here, we need to have the, gonna say column. So column here, we do what, we need to have the children. So gonna have the children. So the children here, so the children, we do what, we do like this, then we do like that, then we do what, we pass the list here. So children, so this one is children. So children like that. So this one we do what? We need to have the first thing that I need to have here is the day. So the day header. So the day header with what? With the toggle, okay? So the one that gonna have that day header with what? With the toggle, okay? So let us see how it looks like. So the one that we are working on, so that part, let me show you. So when you look at this one, how it looks like, so here you can see it changes the color. So here we have what, like this one, Tuesday and available. Then we have this button, okay? So the toggle here. So when you click it, now it becomes editable, where you can be able to change this time from that time, okay? So that is what we need to do. First of all, now we need to create this one, okay? So then when you click that one, then it will change, okay? So we need to create that one. So here we need to for the day header with the toggle. So here gonna say what? Here we need to, we're gonna have padding here. So the padding here gonna say constant of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot all. So then we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Then we're gonna say padding. We want to use the padding medium, like that. Then the next thing that we need to do after that, now we need to have the child. So the child here, so the child, as you saw, we had them in the row, so we're gonna have them in the row here. So the row here, we need to have the children. So in the children, we need to do what? We need to have the first one, we're gonna have it is expanded. So the expanded here, so expanded widget. So the child here, so the child here gonna use a column, because you can see the first one we have what? The day, and also the we have the day, and also we have what? So we have the unavailable, the other text. So we are gonna say cross access alignment dot start, okay? So cross access alignment dot start, like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we're gonna have the children. So the children here, we need to do what? So in the children, we need to have the text, okay? So the text here, it is the day, obvious. So then we need to style it. So to style it, you just say what? Up text style. So up text, so up text styles. So up text styles. Then from there we need to get the body large. So then you're gonna say width, not width, we're gonna say copy. So copy width. So the copy width here, so what you need to change it is what? The color. So the color here, gonna say what? Up colors. So up colors, so gonna say up colors dot what? Primary text, okay? So primary text, that one. So then we need to have the font weight. So the font weight here, it will be what? We want it to be bold. So we're gonna say font weight dot, so font weight dot bold, okay? So like that. So now after doing that, now we're gonna do what? So we have the errors that we need to solve first. So this one. So before we do that, let me, so that you'll be able to see, so let me put that one there. So now after doing that, now I need to save, so that you're gonna get organized, okay? So that you'll be able to see what you are doing. So after doing that, now the next thing that we need to do, we need to check if it is available, okay? So when that one is switched off and on, we want to show a different widget, okay? So in that one, so what we need to do here, first of all, we are still in the same column. So we need to make sure that we do what? So after this text here, we need first of all to check if the schedule, so if the schedule is what? Is available. So if the schedule dot is available, if this is true, we need now to show this text, okay? So we're gonna say text. So the text here, we need to format the time of the day. So as you saw, when it was active, you were seeing what? That time, and also we had that bottom part of it, okay? So that is what we need to do. So the one that we need to show that time. As you can see, we said it looks like what? So let me show you how it looks like, so that you'll be able to know what you are building. So as you see here, we have this one 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we need to make a method that's gonna format this way, okay? So now we need to do it. So let us come back here in our code. So the one that will be responsible for that, it will be what? We're gonna, the way we're gonna name it, it is what? We need to name it to format so we need to make sure that we return the string. Okay, so just come here, gonna just come here just below this method. So we are gonna say string, or instead of doing it here in that part, let us do it here because it will just be used here. Okay, so just come here and we do it. Gonna say this one gonna return a string, so gonna format. Okay, format time, so time of what? Time of day. Okay, like that. Then we're gonna make sure that this one accepts time, to accept time of the day, so time of day, then we name it time. So then, so here you need to say final hour, so final hour is equals to time dot what? Hour of period. So we're gonna check if it is equals to 0. So if it is equals to 0, then we're gonna say 12. Then from there, time dot what? So our time dot hour of the period. Okay, like that. Then from there, the next thing it is what? It is to have the final minute. So final minute is equals to time. Gonna say time. So time dot what? Time dot minute. Then we need to convert it to string. So to string here. So to string, then from there we need to pad left. Okay, so like that. Then from there we need for the width, we're gonna have it as a 2, and also we need to have 0. Okay, so like that. Okay, so that is it. So padding we don't want to, we just need the width. Okay, so now for the string padding, we're gonna pass it as what? 0. So then we need to have the period, so we're gonna say final period. So final period is equals to time, so time dot what? Period. So period, then we do what? Is equals to what? So is equals to, so day period, I'm gonna say day period. So day period, so day period dot what? Dot am. Okay, so am, like that. If it is am, we just do what? Am. Else we do what? Else we're gonna say pm. So pm capital, so we want it to be capital, like that. So then we need to return. So here you need to return. So what we need to return, it is the hour. Okay, so the hour, then we're gonna have that there. Then we're gonna say minute. Okay, the minute, and also we're gonna have the space. Then we're gonna say period. Okay, like that. So then from there, now we need to use this one in our in here. Okay, so the one that will be responsible for formatting our time. Okay, so we're gonna say like this. We're gonna pass first of all $sign. So then we do what? We do the format. So format time of day. So then you're gonna say schedule. So schedule dot what? Schedule dot start time. Okay, so start time, like that. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have a gap, we need to have a hyphen there. Then we pass what? Also the format of the day. I'm gonna say format. So format time of the day. Then you're gonna say schedule. So schedule dot what? Schedule dot end time. Okay, so then from there, the next thing that we need to do, it is to style our text. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this one, the style here. Okay, so then gonna come with it here, then I'm gonna paste it here. So instead of the body large, you need to have body small. So we're gonna say body small. So we're gonna say body small there. So we're gonna say body small. So body small. So body small, then dot copy width. So what we need to change this one, we're gonna remove this one. So and also for the color, so the color I want to use the primary blue. So primary blue. Okay, so that is it. So now after we do that, now the next thing it is what? Now we need to, this is when it is available, else. So else just below this one, gonna say else. So else we need to do what? We need to have the text here. Okay, so else we're gonna say what, so this one should not have a comma here, so we remove that one. So else here the text here be what, unavailable, the one that you saw there, unavailable like that. So then from there we need to style it, so just paste that one there. Then we need to do what, instead of body large, so instead of body large you're gonna use the body small, so body small. Okay, then from there we need to gonna remove this one also up to here. Then we're gonna say colors, so we're gonna use colors dot what, colors dot gray, the one that you saw there. Then with what, not width, we're gonna, instead of width we need to have the shade of 500. Okay, so then from there the next thing that we need to do, it is to check if it is editable. So let me first of all save this one. So then outside that column, so that is the first part. So then from there, so we're still in the same row, so just below the expanded here, we need now to check if it is editable. So if it is editable, we just pass what, just pass what, if it is editable we need to have the switch that is turned on like that. Okay, so we're gonna say if it is editable, if it is editable, so we're gonna say if it is editable, if it is editable here, we're gonna do what, so we're gonna use the switch widget. So we're gonna say switch, so we're gonna say switch, so switch here, so the switch here we're gonna say what, the value will be our schedule, so schedule dot what, dot is available. Okay, so this one we just change it to either it's available or not. Then we're gonna, so here I need to return on toggle. Okay, on toggle, that method. Okay, the function that we have there on toggle like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the what, active, when it is active. So if it is active we need to have that thumb color. I'm gonna say up colors, so up colors dot what, the primary blue. Okay, so that is it. So now after we do that, now the next thing that we need to do now after that row, so after the still here, so we are still in the column, so we need to do now to show the part for the time. Okay, so where we are selecting the time, so we are still in what, just in that column. So now we need to have what, we need to come just outside the padding. So we're gonna say if the schedule, if schedule here, if the schedule is available, if it is available, if it is true, and also it's editable, so editable. Okay, if it is editable here, we need to use the spread operator to add it. Okay, so we're gonna come here. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to have what, so when you come here, when you come to this one, as you can see in this part we have what, so it looks like this. Okay, so here we can have a divider, so the one that we're gonna use here. Okay, this one in between, you can see we have this line here. Okay, so now so that we're gonna show this one, so we need to have a divider there. So just come here and you do what, so here we need first of all to have the divider, so constant of what, divider, so divider, so the divider here. So then we need to have what, we need to have a height of 1, even though you can try to play with it, see how it looks like. So then from there we're gonna use padding also, so padding, so we're gonna use the padding widget. So then from there we're gonna say constant of what, edge insets, so edge insets dot what, edge insets dot all. So then from there we're gonna say up dimensions, so up dimensions, so up dimensions dot what, up dimensions dot padding medium. Okay, so then from there the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the child, so the child here. So as you saw that time they are in the same row, so we're gonna use the row here, so the row widget. So then after we have done that, now we need to have the children. Okay, so we're gonna say children, so the children here. So let me save it first so that we'll be able to see it. So then from there, the first one, it is what we're gonna use expanded. So expanded like that. Then we're gonna do what? So here for the child, so we need to create a widget that will be responsible for selecting the time. Okay, the time selector. Okay, so just come here below, just below this one. So then you're gonna say what class. So class, then you're gonna name it time selector. So time selector. So time selector. So time selector like this. Instead of that, let us use what? Let's use the shortcut. So the shortcut here, it is what? I'm gonna use the st. So this one will be a stateless widget. So like this, then we name it what? Time select. Okay, so time selector. So time selector like that. Then from there, we need to remove this one, the super key. Okay, before I remove that one, so yeah, you can just remove it here first. So then from there, we need to define our variables here. So final string. So final string here, gonna name it label. So label. Then from there, gonna have the final string. So final string here time. So then from there, gonna say final void callback. So void callback, that method. Then we're gonna do what? Gonna say on top. So on top like that. Then we do what? So that one will be there. Then we need to pass them to our what? To our constructor here. We need to initialize them. So like that. Okay, so that is it. Then we gonna remove that one. So now after we have done that, now the next thing that we need to do, we need to, so this one, let us first of all comment it so that we'll be able to do what? To save these ones and be able to see what we are doing. Okay, so then from there, so here we're gonna use an inkwell so that we'll be able to click it. So we're gonna say inkwell. So even what I'm gonna do here, just need to wrap it with widget. So we're gonna say what? Inkwell. So inkwell. So the inkwell. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to come here. So then we're gonna move that one there. So now we need to have the on top. So when it is clicked, so on top here, gonna say what? We're gonna pass our on top, that callback. Okay, so callback like that. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do is the border radius. So border radius, remember it is that part for time. So that is what we are working on. So we're gonna say border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular. So the value here gonna pass 8. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have what? We need to start working on the container. So let me first of all save it. So here in the container, what we need to do, first of all, we need to have the padding. So padding here gonna say what? Constant of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot what? Symmetric. So symmetric here gonna say vertical. So the vertical gonna say 12, and also horizontal. So horizontal, we're gonna pass a value of what? 16. Okay, so then the next thing that we do, we're gonna come here. So we're gonna come here below. So then we're gonna have the decoration of our container. So decoration. So decoration here will be what? It will be a box decoration. So box decoration. So box decoration here gonna say what? Color. So the color here gonna say up colors. So up colors dot what? Up colors dot, we need to use the primary blue. Then from there we need to have the alpha. So with alpha of what? 0.05. So then you multiply by 255. Then you round it. Okay, so you round it there. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have what? We need now to have the border radius. So border radius. So border radius, then we're gonna say border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular. So then here we need to pass a value of 8. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the border. So the border. So the border here be what? Border all. So border all. Okay, so border all here gonna say color. So the color here gonna say what? Up colors. So app colors dot what, we're gonna use the primary blue. Then from there we need to have alpha. So with alpha of what, so this one I want to have alpha of 0.2, then you multiply by what, 255. Okay, then you round it like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, first of all, let us save this one so that we'll be able to see what is going on. So after we have done that, now we need to have the child for our container. So we need to have the child, so the child here, so the child here to be a column. Okay, so we're gonna have child as a column. So then the column here, we're gonna say what, we're gonna say cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment, so we're gonna say cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment, then dot what, we needed to start. Okay, so then like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the children. So the children here, so the children, we need to have what, the first one we need to have the child. Okay, so the child here, so it will be a text, so the text here to be the label. Okay, so then from there we need to style it. So we're gonna say style, so we're gonna say up text style, up text styles. So up text styles dot what, dot caption. So dot caption dot copy width, so dot copy width. Then from there we need to have the color. So the color gonna say colors dot what, colors dot gray. Okay, so dot gray with, not with, we're gonna use the shade, gonna have a shade of 600. Okay, like that. So now the next thing that we need to do, let me save this one. So then the next thing that we need to do, just below this one, still in the same column, so we need to have what, now we need to have a gap first of all. So sized box, so the sized box here, what we need to do, we need to have the height. So the height here, we're gonna have a value of what, 4. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have what, we need to have the row. Okay, so the row here, then we're gonna say what, so we're gonna have the children. So the children here to be what, constant of icon. So then you're gonna say icons dot what, access time. So access time like that. Then from there time, so access time. Then from there the next thing that we need to, it is the size. So the size here to be 16, and also we're gonna have the color. So the color will be what, up colors. So up colors, so up colors dot what, up colors dot primary blue. Then from there the next thing that we need to do, we need to have a gap also. So this is just in the same row, so we're gonna say what, text. So first of all you need to have that gap, so we're gonna say constant sized box. So constant sized box, so sized box here, so we need to have a width. So width of what, width of 8. Then from there the next thing that we need to have, it is what, text. So the text here gonna say time, so time like this. Then we're gonna say what, gonna style it. So the style here gonna say up text styles. So what I'm gonna do, I want to type this one, I'm gonna copy the one that we had for what. So let us come here, we had somewhere, we had the text style. So this one, I want to copy this one, this style here. So I'm gonna copy it. So then I'm gonna come with it here. So you paste it here. So then from there, so what we need to do, so this one I want to use the primary blue. So primary blue. Then from here we don't want it to be a body large, we want it to be a body medium. Okay, so body medium like that. Okay, so then instead of bold, we want to have a weight of what, we want to have a weight of 600 like that. Okay, so that is it. So let me save that one. Okay, so then from there now we can be able to use it to select the time. Okay, so we need to come back here, so where we were, so here in the row, so we need to uncomment this one like that. Then we need to have the child. So the child here gonna use what, our time selector. So we're gonna say time, our time selector. So now for the label we're gonna have what, start time, gonna say start start time. Then from there the next it is the time. You just need to format. So you format what? You format time, day, then we're gonna pass what? So what we need to pass here? So we need to pass what? So here we need to pass our schedule. So the schedule dot what? Schedule dot start time. Okay, so start time. Then from there for on top, here on top we're gonna say on select what? On select start time. Okay, so that is it. So now gonna have a comma here, so we can just save it. So then from there the next thing it is what? We need to use we're gonna copy this one also because we're still in the same row. So then from there we just need to do what? We need to have expanded, not expanded, we need to have constant. So constant of what? Sized box, so that we're gonna have the gap between them. So here gonna say what? Width. So the width that we want to have here, it is what? Gonna say up dimensions dot what? Dimensions. So up dimensions dot margin medium. Okay, margin medium, like that. Then from there we need to have a comma, and then we're gonna paste this one here. So after pasting it there, we need to do what? So this one need to be start time, it will be what? End time. Okay, so then from there instead of this one gonna say what? Gonna say end time. So then from there instead of on start time gonna say on select what? Gonna say on select end time. Okay, on select end time, like that. Okay, so that is it. So now the next thing that we need to do, now we have worked for schedule card. Now we need to use it in our main widget here. So where is it? So where are we? So that is the build. Make sure that it looks like that. So then here we need to uncomment this one. So here in the day that we're gonna pass what? Gonna pass our day schedule card. Okay, so then from there you can see for the day we're gonna say schedule. So the day we're gonna get the day there. So now for the schedule, so the schedule here gonna say what? Our schedule map. So gonna say schedule map. So schedule map here, then we need to get what? We need to get the day. Okay, there. Then we need to make sure it's not null. So like that. Then from there we need to have the is editable. So this one will be based on the widget. So widget dot is editable. Okay, so if it is true or not. So then for on toggle, so this one we need to do what? We need to create the method for that. So on toggle the day. Okay, so we're gonna say we are gonna just select what? That day. So just not select it, we're gonna turn it on, then we get what? We get that day. Okay, so we need to create that method that will be responsible for what? Toggling the day. Okay, so we need to come here. So we can just come here just below this one. So then we're gonna say void. So void toggle the day. Okay, so toggle day. So toggle day, then you're gonna pass what? We're gonna pass a string. So this one will just receive the day. So then from there you're gonna have if widget. So if widget it's not editable, if widget here, so if it is not editable, you're gonna say if widget dot what? Dot is editable. So it's editable. If it is not, we just return. Okay, so we pass it as a return. So then the next thing, that if it is editable, just need to set the state. So we're gonna say set state. So set state here. So the state here we're gonna pass our schedule map. So we need to say schedule map. So we're gonna pass that day. Okay, so then we need to make sure that it's not null. So we need to come here and you make sure it's not what? It's not null. So then from there we need to, we're gonna say it's available. So it's available. If it is, just get the opposite of it. Okay, so we're gonna say schedule. So schedule map, then you get that day. So that is just toggling it. So just like that. Then we say what? is available. Okay, just turning it on and off. If it was true, you just pass it what. Then we're gonna have changes this flag, so the one that we are using in our initialized schedule, so we're gonna set it to true here. Okay, because we have changed it, so true. So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do after we create that one, so now we do what, now we have what, now we need to have the on select what, on selected, so here, so on select start time. Okay, so this one first of all gonna do like this. So this one we're gonna return, so what we need to return here, it is what, select time. Okay, like this. Then you pass the day, and also we're gonna set it to true there. So what we need to do, we need to create that method for selecting what, time. Okay, so this one we're gonna select the time. Okay, now before we continue, so I've noticed that we had some issues. It is just doing what, just jumping. So let me make sure that you look that code and make sure that it looks like yours. So make sure that you have written what you have written, so go and check there like that. So make sure it looks like this. Okay, so that you won't get lost as we continue. Okay, so make sure it looks like this. Okay, so make sure it looks like that. Okay, so now before we continue doing to our part 4 for the select time, okay, the one that will be used for selecting the time. So we're gonna just come here, below our toggle. So we're gonna say future, so future void, so we're gonna say select, so select time. Okay, so this one gonna accept the string of that day, so string day. Then from there gonna have a bool, so bool is what, gonna say is start time, so start time like that. So that one will either be true or false. So then this one will be an async like that. Okay, so then you're gonna check if the widget is editable. If it is not, if the widget is editable, so if it is not editable here, we need to do what, we need to return like that. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we're gonna say final current time. So final current time is equals to what, is equals to, gonna say is equals to a start time. So it's start time, gonna check if it is start time. If it is true, we just say what, schedule. So schedule map, gonna pass the day here, that day. Then we do what, gonna make sure it's not null here. So then we're gonna make sure, then gonna say start time. Okay, so then else we do what, gonna say schedule map, so schedule map, so schedule map here, so schedule map then for that day. Okay, then we do what, so then we're gonna say end time. Okay, so end time like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the final time of the day. So we're gonna say final, so final time of day, so time of day, this one. So nullable, we're gonna say picked. Okay, so we need to say is equals to what, await. So we need to use the show time picker, show time picker, this one, show time picker, this one. Then from there, so for the context, then from there we need to have what, the initial time, it is the current one. Okay, so the current time. So then from there, the next thing, it is the builder. So the builder here, we need to pass the context, and also we need to pass what, we need to pass the child. Okay, like that. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to return. Okay, so here we need to return, gonna return them, Okay, so we're gonna say return theme here. So the theme, then from there we need to have what? The data. Okay, so we're gonna start with the data. So theme dot what? Theme dot of context. Then from there we need to say dot copy with. So dot copy with. So dot copy with. Then we're gonna say color scheme. So color scheme. So color scheme here. So color scheme here to be a constant of what? Of color scheme. So of color scheme. So color scheme dot light. Okay, so color scheme. So color scheme dot light. So then from there for the light here you need to have the primary. So the primary here gonna say what? Up colors. So gonna say up colors. So up colors dot what? Up colors dot primary blue. Okay, so that is it. Then from there the next thing that we need to do, we need to do what? So still here in our theme. So in our theme we need also to have what? Outside that one, so we need to have the child. Okay, so we need to have the child. So we're gonna say child. So the child here we're gonna pass the child, and also you need to make sure that it is not a null. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do it is to put that semicolon there. So let me come here just below this one. So it is complaining about what? Expected to find that one. Okay, so then from there the next thing that we need to do after the child, so now we need to come here and we say what? We need to check if it is picked. So we're gonna say if picked. So if picked it's not equal to null. As if it is not equal to null, here we do what? We need to set the state. Okay, we just need to get the state. So we're gonna say set state. So we just need to update our time. Okay, so here what we need to do, if it is time, is start time. So if it is start time here, if it is start time, if it is true, we just need to do what? We need to say schedule map. So schedule map. So schedule map here. So then we get from that day, we do what? We need to say start time. Okay, so then is equals to the picked one. Okay, so then from there the next thing that we need to do, else. So else we're gonna do what? Gonna come here and we do what? We say the schedule map. So the schedule map for that day. So then we do what? Gonna do like this. Then we're gonna say end time. So end time like that is equals to what? Is equals to picked. Okay, so like that. Then from there we need to have what? We need to say has changes. So we're gonna say has changes. So that flag, so has changes, we're gonna set it to true here. Okay, after we have done that, so we're gonna set it to true. So that is the method for what? For getting for selecting the time. So we're gonna use it also for in here. So we're gonna say in here, we're gonna copy this one, gonna copy all of this one. So Control C. So this is the end time. So we're gonna set the other one as a false. Okay, so we're gonna say false. Okay, so then we're gonna remove this one. So that is it. So now the next thing that we need to do, after we have done that, we need to check if the widget it is editable. So we are still in the column. So now we show that time. So now the next thing that we need to do, we need to make sure that we're gonna come here. So where is it? So just below this one. So we're gonna check if it is editable. If widget, so if widget dot is editable, if it is editable and has changes. Okay, so if it is editable and has changes, so here we need to do it. Now we need to have a button, so the one that will be responsible for saving. So just need to use that spread operator. I'm gonna say constant sized box. So sized box. So sized box here, gonna say what? Gonna say height. So the height here, So the height it will be what? Up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Margin large. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have a, we're gonna use the sized box also now to have the elevated button. So we're gonna say sized box. So here we need to have the width. So the width, we just want to occupy the available space. So we're gonna say double. So double dot what? Infinity. So then the next one, it is what? The child. Okay, not here. So we're gonna say child. So the child here to be what? Elevated button. So we're gonna say elevated button dot icon, this one. So then on pressed, we just need to save. Okay, so we're gonna have this method for saving schedule. Okay, so we're gonna create this one, the one that will be responsible for saving. Then for the label, gonna say constant text. So we're gonna say save schedule. Okay, gonna say save schedule, like that. Then from there, then from there we need to have the icon. So the icon here, we're gonna make sure you're outside the text. So we need to come here and you do it, and then you're gonna have the icon. So the icon here to be a constant of what? Of icon. So then you're gonna say icons dot what? Save. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the what? We need to have the style. So to style our button, so we're gonna say style, we're gonna say elevated. So elevated button. So we're gonna say elevated. So elevated button. Elevated button dot what? Dot style from. So elevated button dot style from, like that. So style from. So the style from here, we need to do what? Here we need to have the background color. So the background color, so this one will be what? Will be up colors. So up colors dot what? Primary blue. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we can have the foreground. So the foreground color, foreground. So we're gonna say foreground color. So this one we're gonna say what? Colors dot white, even though still you can use the up colors. So like that. Then you need to have the padding. So padding here to be a constant of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot all. So dot all. Then here, not dot all, I want to use the symmetric. So symmetric. So here gonna have the vertical, only in the vertical side that I want to have a value of what? 16. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the shape of our button. So this one will be a rounded rectangle. So rounded rectangle border. So here gonna say the border radius. So we're gonna say border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular. So then from there, gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions, or up dimensions dot what? Dot border radius. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, I just have saved it, so make sure that yours look like this and you're able to see that one. Okay, so now we need to create the save schedule, the one that will be used for saving that one, and also make sure that everything, if you are not able to see in the previous session, you are able to see it here. Okay, so that we'll be able to write the necessary code. So then after we do that, so now for saving, so we're gonna come here, gonna say void. So void here, gonna say save. So save schedule. So schedule like this. Then we do what? So here we need to come here and we say if it has not changes. So if it does not have changes, if has changes, if it is what? If it is false, or the widget has no widget is not editable, so we're gonna say widget dot what is editable. So if it is not editable, so we just need to return. Okay, so we're gonna say return like that. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the scheduled data, the one that we're gonna send. So we need to have it here, scheduled data. So scheduled data, so scheduled data is equals to what? Is equals to map. So map of what? String. So string, and also what? Dynamic. So string dynamic, so dynamic like this. So then we do what? To be a list. Okay, like that. Then we put semicolon there. So now we need to go through them. So we're gonna say for for this I, so variable I is equals to 0. Gonna start from 0. Then you're gonna say I is less than what? Weekdays. So we're gonna get the weekdays dot length. So then from there we need to increment. Okay, so increment there. So then come here outside. So we do what? So here what we need to do is that we need to say final day. So final day here is equals to what? Is equals to our weekdays. So we're gonna say weekdays. So we need to loop every day. So in every day we got get it from the I, so that is the index. So then from there we need to have the schedule. So the schedule variable. So we're gonna say schedule. So schedule here is equals to what? Our schedule map. So schedule map. Okay, so then from there we need to have what? We need to have that day there, and also make sure that it's not null. Okay, so then the thing that we need to do after we have done that, we're gonna check if the schedule is available. So if it is available, so we're gonna say schedule. So schedule dot what? Is available. If it is available here, we need to say schedule data. We need to add it. Okay, so schedule data dot add. What we need to add here, it is what? So the variable that we need to pass here, it is what? We're gonna have the day of the week. Okay, so day of week, like that. Then from there we're gonna have what? I, that one, the I. Then from there we're gonna have the start time. So start time, like that. We're gonna have, so we need to create a method that we're gonna use to format our time. So just come here below this one. So we need to create that one. So we're gonna return a string. So string of what? Format time. Okay, we're gonna name it format time. So we just need to format our time here. So this one gonna accept time of the day. So time of day, then we're gonna say time. So then we need to convert that time. So we're gonna return. So we use the $sign here. So we're gonna say what? We're gonna say time dot what? Dot hour. Okay, then to string. Then from there we need to pad left. So we're gonna get 2 there, then also 0. Okay, so then from there we need to have what? We need to have a colon here. So we're gonna say colon. So we're gonna say what? We're gonna say $sign. Then from there we're gonna say time dot what? Time dot minute. Okay, so time dot minute dot what? Dot to string. So to string. So to string, then we need to pad left. So pad left from that 2, then we do what? Pass 0 there. Okay, so then we cross there, then we also pass the semicolon there. So that is it. So now in our start time here, we need to just format it. We're gonna say format time. So format time, then we're gonna get the schedule. So the schedule dot what? Schedule. So schedule dot start time. Okay, then from there the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the end time. So end time. So then we're gonna say what? Format So format here, then we're gonna say what? Format time. So format time here, gonna say schedule. So schedule dot what? Dot end time. Okay, so then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have is what? Is active. Okay, so is active. So then we're gonna set it to true because it is active. Then it will be what? It will be true. That's why we have what? We're checking if it is available. So it simply means it is true. Okay, so that is it. So then the next thing that we need to do after we have done that, now we need to say widget. So widget dot on schedule changed. Okay, on schedule changed, then we need to call. So we're gonna call the schedule what? The schedule data. Okay, so this is what we need to pass to that one. So then from there we do what? Then we need also now to set the state. Okay, so just set state. So set state, so that we're gonna alert our widget that we have done some changes. Okay, so here gonna say as changes. So as changes is equals to what? Gonna set it to false. Okay, so then from there, the next thing that we need to do, now we have worked for that one. Now we need to use it in our tab content. So here, so now just after header, now we need to have the what? The availability schedule widget. So then for the availability, we just pass what? The availability there. Okay, so then from there the key. So here the key will be what? We're gonna pass the value key. So value key, then we're gonna say availability. So value key, then we're gonna say availability. So availability dot length. Okay, so dot length. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to do what? We need to have that is editable. So is editable here, we're gonna set it to is editable. We're gonna set it to true. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do it is what? On schedule changed. Okay, so on schedule changed, to pass, gonna pass our on schedule changed. Okay, like that. So then from there, we need to do what? We need now to have the, gonna have a gap here. So let me save that one. Now we need to have a gap. So here for the gap that we're gonna say constant sized box. So sized box here, we do what? We're gonna have a height. So height of what? So height, we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Margin large. Okay, so then we need to have the schedule tips, the one that we're gonna show some few tips there. Okay, so we need to create that widget that will show the tips. Okay, so now for the tips, so just come here below. So gonna say this one will be a stateless class. So the stateless class here, gonna say what? Schedule. So schedule what? Schedule tips. Okay, like that. So then from there, now we need to do what? So we're gonna remove this one, gonna remove all of this one, so this constant there. So then, so here we need to have the container. So in the container we need to have the padding. Okay, so padding, then from there we need to do what? We're gonna say constant of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot what? Edge insets dot all. So then you're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Padding medium. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the decoration for a container. So decoration, it will be box decoration. Gonna say box decoration. So box decoration, like that. Then we need to have what? We need to have the color. So the color here, it is what? Up colors. So up colors dot what? Gonna say surface. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the border radius. So border radius here, so border radius here, gonna say border radius dot circular. So border radius dot circular, so radius dot circular, so dot circular. Then we're gonna say what, gonna have the value of up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, up dimensions dot border radius. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the border. So we're gonna come out of that one, then we need to have the border. So the border here, it will be border all. Okay, so border dot all. So here we need to do what, we need to say color. So the color, you're gonna say colors dot gray. So colors dot gray with a shade of what, shade of 200. Okay, so that is it. So let me save it. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the child in our container here. So we're gonna say child. So child here, so the child here, gonna say what, so we're gonna have a column. So we're gonna use a column widget. So then from there, we're gonna have the cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment. So then we're gonna say cross axis alignment dot start. Okay, so cross axis alignment, so cross axis alignment dot what, dot start. Then from there, the next thing that we need to have, it is the children. So the children here, so the children, then we're gonna do what, we're gonna have them in a row first of all. So we're gonna have the children. So this one we're gonna say constant. So constant here, gonna say icon. So gonna say icon, then we're gonna say icons dot what, light bulb. So the light bulb, so light bulb, so light bulb what, outline, light bulb outline. So light bulb outline. Okay, like that. Then we need to have the color. So the color here, gonna say colors dot what, colors dot orange. So then we gonna have the size. So the size will be what, 20. Okay, so then from there, we need to have a gap. So we're gonna say constant of sized box. So sized box, so sized box, then we do what, so in the sized box, we need to have a width. Okay, so the width here, gonna say up dimensions dot what, up dimensions dot margin small. So margin small, like that. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need now to have the text. Okay, for the title. So we're gonna say text. So text here, gonna say what, schedule. So schedule, so schedule tips. Okay, so then we need to style it. So we're gonna say style. So style here, gonna what, up text styles. So up text styles, then we do what, dot body large, then dot copy width, then we're gonna say the color. So the color here, gonna say what, up colors. So up colors, so up colors, so up colors here, so up colors dot what, dot primary text. Okay, so primary text. Then from there, you're gonna have the font weight, okay, so the font weight here, gonna say what, font weight dot bold. Okay, so font weight dot bold, like that. Then we're gonna do what, we're gonna save it. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have a gap. So still here in the column, so outside that row, so we need to have a gap. So constant sized box, so sized box. So then here we need to do what, we're gonna say a height. So the height here, we're gonna say what, we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what, margin medium, like that. Then we do it. So now we need to create a widget that we're gonna use for our tips. So just come here below. So here we're gonna say stateless widget. So stateless widget here. So stateless widget, then we're gonna name it tip item. So tip item, okay. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do, it is just to declare our tip here. So we're gonna say final string of what? Tip, okay. That is what we need to pass here in our so you're gonna say this dot what? This dot tip, like that. So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to start working on the, so we're gonna say padding. So that is what we want to use here. So then from there, the next thing that we need to do is to have the padding. So we're gonna say padding. So the padding here, we're gonna say what? Const edge insets. So edge insets dot what? So edge insets dot only. So dot only here. So we're gonna have the bottom. So bottom, then we're gonna say up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? So up dimensions dot margin small, like that. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the child. So the child here to be a row. So the row here, gonna say cross axis alignment. So we're gonna say cross axis alignment dot what? So cross axis alignment dot start, okay. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the children. So the child, not the children. So the children, yeah. So the children here, we're gonna say what? We're gonna have a container. So container. So this one we want to have a dot type of a thing. So here gonna say container. So here gonna have the width. So the width, we're gonna have a value of 6, and also you have the height, okay. So the height here. So the height here, gonna say what? So height here, gonna say we're gonna have a value of 6 because we want it to be circular. So then the margin. So the margin. So margin will be const edge insets. Const of what? Edge insets. So edge insets dot what? Dot only. So dot only, you're gonna have only top. So value of what? 6, okay. So then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have the decoration, not here. So just here, gonna say decoration. So decoration here to be a constant of what? Constant of box decoration. Gonna say box decoration. So box decoration. So then from there, we need to have the color, okay. So the color, then we do what? We're gonna say colors dot orange, like that. Then we're gonna have the shape. So the shape, we're gonna box shape dot what? Circle. Shape dot circle, like that, okay. So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, now we need to have what? Now we need to have the tooltip. So still in the same row. So just do what? You're gonna say constant of what? Sized box. So sized box. So then here, we need to say width. So the width that we want to use here, it is a value of what? Up dimensions. So up dimensions. So up dimensions dot what? Margin small. Then from there, the next thing that we need to do, we need to have now expanded. So we're gonna use expanded here. So expanded, then for the child here to be what? To be a text. So the text, you're gonna say, you're gonna pass the tip, and also you need to style it. So we're gonna say style it. Gonna say style. So the style here, it is what? Up text style. So up text. So up text styles. So up text styles dot what? Body medium. So body medium dot copy width. So here gonna have the color. So the color, then we do what? We do colors dot what? Colors dot gray. So colors.gray, then we're gonna have a shade of what? We need to have a shade of 700 like that. So then we need to save it like that. Okay, so then from there, now we have that one tooltip. Now we need to use it in our what? In here, so that we're gonna have them. So the first one that we're gonna have here, gonna set our tip item. So this one we're gonna say what? We're gonna say set realistic. So set a realistic what? Time slots with what? With the breaks between consultation. Okay, so like that. Then the next thing that we need to do, we need to have a comma here, and also we're gonna have another tip. So tip item, so we can add many tips here. So we're gonna say keep buffer. So keep buffer time for emergencies. Okay, so keep buffer times for emergencies. So emergencies or delays. Okay, like that. So then the next thing, it is what? Gonna have the tip item. So we're gonna say update what? Availability. Update availability. So update availability regularly. Okay, so regularly to reflect changes. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, gonna remove that one. You're having a double. So then the next one that I'm gonna add also, I'm gonna add another one. So I'm gonna say tip item. So tip item here. So tip item here, gonna say what? Consider. So consider. So consider what? Consider time zones. So time zones for international what? So international patients. Okay, like that. So that is the end of what? Of that part for consultant schedule. So we have something. You have something here. Schedule tips. Okay, so now we need to use it here. Okay, so just come here and we say what? Schedule. So schedule tips. So that is it. Now the next thing that we need to do, now we have done that part. Now the next thing that we need to do, it is to now to work on what? Now to come back to our page here. So now we need to add it here, the other parts. So now to use it in our what? In our screen here. So we are checking for what? So in the block builder, so we need to do what? We need to organize the arrow function. So we're gonna say this one. Then we do what? We're gonna return the schedule. So schedule what? Tab content. So tab content. Okay, tab content. So then, so for the state, we're gonna pass that state. Then for refresh, so this one we need to return what? So to refresh, you just do consultant block or consultant block. So consultant block, we do consultant block. Then we do what? Dot add. So the event that we want to add here to be a constant of what? Of load consultant availability. Load consultant availability, like that. Then for the schedule changed, here we need to pass the schedule data. So we're gonna say schedule data. So that is what we need to pass here. So we're gonna say what? So here we need to return. So come here and we do what? We call the consultant. So consultant block. So dot what? Dot add. So what we need to add here is what? Gonna say set consultant. So set consultant set consultant availability with that scheduled date. Okay, so then you put what, semicolon here. So that's it. Now we're gonna save it. So when you save it, then you can do a hot restart so that we'll be able to test it, and then go to the next part. Okay, so that is what we need to do. So let me bring it so that we'll be able to set the schedule for this user. Okay, so then after we do that, after doing that, now we're gonna do what, we're gonna start working on the availability and other things. Okay, so we need to come here. So as you can see what we have been building, then we have this part for the schedule tips. So now when we want to be available on this time, so 9 a.m. so here you can pass what, to make sure that we are there up to 5. Okay, so 5 there. Okay, so then from there also we need also to be available on Tuesdays, so we are gonna be able to be there up to 5 also. Then on Wednesday we'll be there up to what, want to be there up to maybe up to 10. Okay, so 1 p.m. like that. So then from there now we can be able to do what, to save them. So as you can see we have saved them. So when we'll be doing the part for now, we need to go to the patient, so that we're gonna work on the part for what, for managing what, for managing the users, not managing the users, to be able to create the booking for appointments. Okay, so which we're gonna do what, we're gonna do something. So we have an issue here, so for the time, so we need to solve that issue because it's not okay the way it is looking now. So we're gonna solve that one. Okay, so then we do like that. Okay, the issue for that time, it is simply means it is what, we have a problem in our availability. So the moment we copied here, we didn't change it, so we didn't pass the end time. So end time, and also here we're gonna do what, end time. Okay, so then we're gonna do a hot reload or hot restart. So then from there, then I'm gonna grab it so that we're gonna be able to see the updated UI. So that is it for it to do a hot restart. So then from there, the next, we need to be able to start working on what, on our consultation. So for the availability part. Okay, so we need to come here. So where is it here? Okay, now you can see it is okay. So make sure that you check that part. Okay, so you have 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. like that. Okay, so that is it. So now we can say what, that you can be able even to refresh there. So that is it.